Ahead app is less than 2 weeks away. Racing owners, get excited. I'm Belinda Meyers. I'm here with the founders, Rich Busso and Amy Thompson. Are you excited? You've got a business, you've got an app, and it's not far away.
Can't wait. We're radically changing horse ownership and we're making excitement of racing last longer than 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Gosh, we're 1 minute into the podcast, and we almost took it to the gutter. But we're going to stay on message here. You guys are young-ish. You're fun. You're definitely fun, and the app is all about fun, isn't it? It's a social app for people that love their racing and love owning horses. How is it social, Amy?
Basically, you can chat to the other owners. I mean, no other app out there connects you to the other owners, and we are making that happen. So if you get into ownership because you want to have a social experience, our app's going to help you do that.
What are some of the other features of it? So let's not go into all the technical side, which we know is your expertise, Amy, and it's what keeps you awake at night. But if you're a racehorse owner and you're downloading the app in a couple of weeks, what do you get?
So basically, you can see all your horses in one place. You'll be able to see your races. So when your horse is racing, you'll get notifications. You'll get some social events. You can share photos and videos with the other owners. Basically, it's a really good opportunity for you to connect people.
Can I buy a horse? More importantly, if I've got the bug, can I go online and go, what's my next horse?
Yes, of course you can. So there's an easy way of you finding that next horse and really stay connected. Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the line here, Amy. You quit your job a couple of years ago because you're face palming at the moment as we sit here by the fire. But you went, no, this is not good enough. I think we can do better as an industry and have a platform that's just for owners by owners. Nobody had created it, so you went ahead and created it yourself. Were you crazy?
Definitely crazy, but yeah, I think when you can see a need and you really want to solve a problem, and that's what we've decided to do. So yeah, I think the app itself is really going to make a difference to owners. It's going to change the industry.
There's how many thousands of owners at the moment, or hundreds of thousands of owners are there at the moment in the industry, but this is also, your app's also for people that aren't even owners yet, that might be thinking about getting into it, or they know somebody with a horse. They can be part of it as well.
Yeah, so obviously when you get into ownership, you've always got a father-in-law or a best friend who wants to follow your horse. So our app lets those friends and family get behind you, follow the horse, understand the experience, and really we've experienced this ourselves in the last sort of 12 months. You can get a bit of FOMO, and surely enough, you'll end up getting into a horse yourself before you know it. So it's definitely for the greater connected family and friends. They'll follow your experience.
Yes, so this all started because you're horse owners yourselves. Rich, I'm going to throw to you because there's a little bit of a story behind how you got into your first horse. They say some of the best ownership stories start with an accident, and yours certainly did. So tell us about that fateful day that you headed out to Oaklands.
Yeah, so I grew up in a family business in car sales, and Dad said, let's go to the auctions and listen to the music. So we went to the horse auctions. The next minute we had a business card from the lovely Gay Waterhouse. And then the next day we had a meeting with Bruce Slade in one of the lovely coffee shops in Melbourne, and the rest is history.
So you got into a horse then with Bruce and Gay. That was your first one. What's the count up to now, dare I ask?
Yep, so we started with Sweet Redemption, a lovely Schnitzel horse. We have 10 now, across 10 trainers.
And what's your best one in your stable, do you reckon you've got?
Best one is called Embracer, a Sebring colt, trained by Gay at the moment.
Okay, he's going around at the moment. I think he was first up last weekend, so hopefully an exciting preparation ahead. What is it about horse ownership for you both that really, really gets the juices flowing? What do you love about it?
I love the connecting side. I actually think connecting with the other owners, having that thrill of the race, the pre-excitement, the post-excitement or failure, but really getting behind that bonding with the friends and family about the racehorse that you own.
So once the Fred app is live, which is pretty soon, And when we're in a position to be back on track, it's not going to really matter whether you're on track or off track, because you're going to be able to connect with whoever's on track. You're going to be able to chat to people you may never actually meet and form a connection with them. That's part of the main selling point of Fred. What are the other things that you love about the app?
Yeah, so the main reason why we started Fred was we weren't connected to the other owners. We didn't know who they were. We went on track, we met them, we created WhatsApp groups, and now we've got friends for life. So the app's all about that connection, that friendship, but we really want to take this to the next level. We really want to make this about the owner's experience. We want to create a marketplace. We really want to make it a place where all the owners come into the platform, they talk to the other owners, they look at their horses, and potentially they buy shares, and we make it the new car sales for horses.
You're listening to the Friends of Mr. Ed podcast. My name is Belinda Meyers. I'm here with Rich Busso and Amy Thompson, the founders of the Fred app. So what is a day in the life like for Amy Thompson at the moment? I imagine pretty long days.
Anyone who has a child, a small child, would know how I'm feeling right now. Like, my child is called Fred. He wakes up at about 5 in the morning. We think about different ideas about how I can make the product better. Straight into figuring out defects that I need to fix with my dev team. Yeah, it's a pretty intensive day. We're also in the middle of startup bootcamp, so we're kind of doing a master's on top of actually product launch, which is so much fun all at the same time. There's so many aspects of running a business, building the product. It's quite exhausting, but I wouldn't have it any other way. We absolutely love it at the moment.
I guess it's one thing to get the app into market and get people starting to use it in a couple of weeks' time, but there's also the potential for it in the future as well. I think you've got a whole list of ideas that you want to build into the app going forward.
Yeah, we've got a massive backlog of features. So one of the things that we're really excited about is building out the syndicate management functionality. So that means instead of having to wade through and trying to find a PDF document to create a syndicate, we want to do that through the app. So you meet some new friends, you want to create a syndicate, a couple of push buttons, the next thing you've got a syndicate created, you've purchased a horse, really changing that whole use case of how you buy a horse, and also reducing that sort of administrative overhead of managing the horse. It should be about fan engagement and about having fun with your mates rather than spending time in the spreadsheet. So we want to fix that for you.
So I don't know much about the startup environment, but I know that you guys are a pretty big deal in the sports tech realm of startups. You got selected in, is it the top 10 of sports tech startup apps around the world?
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to make the top 10 of 700 startups globally in sports tech with an accelerator program called Startup Bootcamp, and it's a fantastic opportunity.
So that's sped up things for you, that's got the wheels turning even quicker than they already were to get your app to market?
Yeah, totally. So we were able to connect to 70 mentors. We're connected to the Startup Bootcamp community on cohort. We're learning about business models, pricing models, how we grow the business, how we grow our staff, but fundamentally, how do we make this the best app and value proposition for our owner community?
So horses have been very important to you, to both of you all your life, but probably more so you, Amy. You just showed me some photos from the very early days of your life, and horses have been part of it ever since. So where did your love of horses come from at the very start?
Well, it's strange. My dad actually grew up in a really small town in Mangakino in New Zealand, and after school he used to go out and catch wild horses. So probably quite a long stretch from thoroughbred racing, but my mother's side of the family, they were all into harness racing and training. So we've actually got quite deep roots in terms of horse ownership and in the racing community. My immediate family, strangely enough, we weren't involved in racing, but I actually worked at the TAB as a uni student, so that's probably as good as it gets in terms of my immediate kind of connection to racing. But it's always been part of our life. I think when you grow up in a small sort of place like New Zealand, yeah, everyone's on a farm of some sort, so everyone's connected to horses. So yeah, I have my immediate stories of my childhood was getting on the back of an old pack horse there was two of them, called Bob and Lightning. They were amazing horses that my dad used to catch in the wild, and that's who we used to ride when we were little.
You grew up with them, I guess.
Yeah.
But it dates back further than that as well in your family. There's a long history of being involved with horses.
Yeah, so actually we found out recently my father's great-great-grandfather was the original first postman of Victoria, actually, even though we didn't realise we had any Australian roots, but he was an Irishman who came out to Australia in the 1830s and got the job of taking the post from Victoria through New South Wales, and he used to ride 10,000 kilometres each journey, and he's got some amazing stories. That was John Conway Burke. But so there's some really amazing horsemen sort of in the family history.
And horses being so close to your heart, I know that the plans for down the track with Fred is to be able to give something back to horses, and horse welfare is something that's really close to your heart and important to you as part of the whole Fred journey. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think most owners, they really get into horse ownership because they love the animals, they love the sport. And for me, Fred is really important that we make sure that we give back to that community and make sure that animal welfare is a big part of that story. And so as a part of what Friends of Mr. Ed is establishing is going to be making sure that we give back to the community and make sure that the animal welfare is part of our journey as well.
What do you think is going to be that moment? You've been on a long journey to bring this app to life, from starting with going, I think we could do something a lot better than what's out there, to I've got an app that's just about ready to drop. What do you think is going to be that moment where you sit back and go, this was all worth it?
I actually think it's when you get feedback, like when you hear from the other owners, and like we're all about feedback. So if you're an owner and you use the app and you use it and you either like it or you've got some other ideas, for me it's hearing from the other owners going, oh, we love it, or we think this could be improved. Really getting that immediacy of feedback from the other owners, feeling like we've made something that makes a difference to people. That's going to be the moment where I think, yeah, we've done something good. Yeah.
How exciting. I've had a little sneak peek of the app myself. I've been helping you test it, and as an owner, I'm pretty excited about the prospect of getting in and using it for real. Rich, where can people access the app in a couple of weeks' time? And I keep saying a couple of weeks. When you're hearing this podcast, the app might have already dropped. Where can people find it?
Yeah, so we've actually got the app in the Apple Store and the Google Store. So previously when we launched the app, it was only for Apple users, and we really knew that there was a market there for the Android customers. So both Apple and Android stores, you can get the app.
And you mentioned that you did launch a version of the app going back a year or so ago. How is the new version that's about to drop, how is that different to the first version that people may or may not have seen?
Yeah, so we learnt a lot through that exercise. So the new version is, once you download the app and you register and go through the onboarding process, you'll see your horses and you'll be able to automatically connect to those horses. Previous version was very, very manual. In the background, we were manually adding data. So we've done a lot of automation in this release. So
you go into the app, talk us through it just briefly. There are some demos on the website, but you go into the app and what do you see? Yeah, so Amy's really good at answering this question, but I'll give it a go. And apologies if Amy's in the background. She was just taking a sip of her wine, so I thought I better point the microphone at you. Yeah, so you'll download the app, you'll go through an onboarding process, you'll select your horse, you'll automatically be connected to that horse, and then you'll come to a main screen where you'll see that main card. If you click on that horse, you can then see the details, how many races it's had, you'll see photos, you'll see the other owners. You can share the app with the other owners, so that's probably a really big feature that I want to encourage everyone to use. And you'll be able to then chat. The chat's probably one of the features I love. I love talking, I love connecting, I love talking about pre-race, post-race, sort of race, betting strategies, the whole lot.
So really connect with the owners and have a chat about, what is the strategy and feeling and love about your horse.
So it's basically when too much is just not enough of your horse. Fred is the app where you can get it all in one place. Amy's nodding her head. Amy, are there any other features that you think you love or you think people are going to love when they get their hands on it?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really bugs me at the moment is I get spammed by email. It's difficult to keep up actually, especially when you've got 10 horses. And so the thing that's frustrating when I'm working or when I can't get to the track is I have to wait a few hours or maybe a couple of days to get the update from the jockey report to find out why my horse got fourth. But actually what we're trying to do is democratise that information sharing amongst owners. So if you've got a fellow owner who can make the track because you can't get there, then they can take that pre and post jockey report. They can find out how the horse is going with the strapper before the race and share that information through our chat functionality. So this is all about owners taking control and not being so reliant on just one-way push communication from the trainers.
Yeah, and I guess the important thing to note as well is it doesn't matter which platform your trainer is using, whether they're on Prism or they're on MyStable or whatever. This app is for every single person who is an owner in a horse, whether you're an outright owner, you're part of a syndicate. It's for absolutely everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. All owners are ultimately racing fans, and so that if you're at the track, you'll ask the strapper how the horse is going, how's it going before the race, has it had a feed, is it travelled well. You can actually share that information with the other owners and really help them have an amazing experience, find that sort of inside information that you're really looking for.
So if I can just jump in, Belinda, one of the features I really want to talk about is getting everyone to know when your horse is racing. I love my dad. He calls me probably 10 times a day. But one of the 9 conversations we have is, when's Embracer running? When's Dark Confident running? When's Toys on Fire running? And honestly, he gets the emails as much as I do, and I'm really sick of it. So what we did was we really built that capability out where, number one, we can share when your horse is racing. So that's really, really good feature. Second thing is a family member that's not an owner of that horse can follow you. So Dad can follow my horses. So can my cousin Rob. And so can my, friend Silvio. They can all follow me and follow the horse. And the third thing is they can then add that race to the calendar in the time zone that's applicable to them. So one of my friends lives in LA, follows one of our horses. He can download that into his personal calendar on the time that he's in to see when that race is at, and he can wake up and follow that race, which is fantastic. So
it's an owners app built by owners, but there's also some opportunities for trainers and syndicators as well to be part of the app and to have access to a whole heap of owners and present opportunities to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we're really keen on is if you're a new owner, in fact, we've met many of them, it's really difficult to figure out how to get into ownership. So if you're a trainer or a syndicator and you're interested in obviously connecting to a new marketplace and find new owners, then our app can help you do that. We're also really keen around the social side of ownership. So if you're a trainer or a syndicator and you've got social events, especially in COVID-19, when you can't have people come to your stables or to the track, it's a really great opportunity to put your social events through the app, have Zoom meetings and get all the owners connected to each other. So there's some really interesting features in there that can really help you build out a better experience for your owner base.
I'm excited to see it actually land. I'm excited to get the feedback of what people think about it. I know that they're going to love it as much as I do. All the best of luck, guys, with the launch in a couple of weeks. If you're listening and you want to check out the app, friendsofmred.com. Follow us on our social channels, Friends of Mr. Ed. You can't miss it. We're everywhere. The teal and the navy blue colours. You'll be seeing us everywhere. Get involved. Get the app. And we'll see you soon.